Hello, welcome to the Lead Pedal Podcast. I'm your host, Bruce Outridge, and today we are going to talk about what's new for the month of October. We got lots of stuff coming up, my friends. We are going to kick it off, well, of course, with this one, but then we get into Driver Reach. Driver Reach is a new technology out there to help carriers recruit drivers. We talked to CEO Jeremy Raymer about what's going on, how this was developed, and how it's working for carriers. Then we move on to an amazing story. You got to join us for episode number 376 when we talk with John Westhaver. Now, John and I know each other through Canadian Association of Professional Speakers and Association for Speakers. He was the lone survivor in a car crash in his teens. It left his body 75% burnt. And he goes around talking to young people about the importance of driving safely. And we're going to talk to him about his story and what's going on in that. And then, of course, we've got more stuff coming up. We've got our featured truck of the week, and we've got a double bonus for you this time. The very first one on episode 377, we're going to talk to a guy who has a Burgundy Nomad that we met at Special Olympics, and he also has a custom Bel Air. Man, you want to make sure you check out the videos on these, but we are going to be talking to him about about his cars, how he got them, what he's done with them, all kinds of stuff. Hey, and you know what? We move on to Rachel Premack. You may have heard this name because Rachel is a transportation reporter in the U.S. With the Business Insider, and we're going to we talked to her about what's going on in the transportation industry and how long she got into that role because she is a very young person. We are going to go back and talk to Kimberly Byback. Now, you may remember Kimberly. We talked to her back in May. She was doing the Baycrest Seal Fit. Folks, she accomplished her dreams, and this was just amazing what she did. She raised $8,300 for Alzheimer's, and we're going to talk to her about how she made it through 24 hours of the hardest competition ever. Make sure you join us for that at episode number 379. We're going to recap the mega job fair that happened in Brampton on September 21st when we talked to my man Kyle. He went down to recap that for us, and we're going to be talking to him about what's going on there. And then we've got a cool red triple axle Kenworth that we saw at the Great Canadian Truck Show. This was part of the 12-gauge setup, and you do not want to miss this. That's episode number 381. Hey, and you know what? We've got lots of stuff coming up. We are going to be talking about being a focused driver. Now, when I say focus, I'm not talking about on the road. I'm talking about on your career. How can you get your career in gear by having a little bit of focus as to where you want to go and where you've been? We're going to talk about the difference between a leased owner-operator and an independent owner-operator on episode number 383. This is some information that a lot of people get stuck with and are not sure what to do with. And we're going to talk about that on this episode here. And we are also going to be talking about investigating training schools. What should you look out for if you're a new person looking at the industry? You certainly want to make sure that you check out that one because we're going to be talking, we'll be interviewing a couple people about what they think you should be looked for, and maybe even talk to a student or two about what happened. And then we've got one of my favorites. Oh, this is so cool. Episode 385, we're going to be looking at a baby blue Kenworth that I saw up at the Clifford Truck Show. This thing was one of my favorite trucks from that show, and we're going to show you what it's all about in episode number 385. And we are going to talk about what it takes to be a good trainer. We caught up with Instructor of the Year, Joe Texiera from Rosedale Transport, and he's been on the show before, but we caught up to him again to find out exactly what he does to be Instructor of the Year and what it takes to be a top instructor. And then there's a couple things that you may want to think about if you're moving from that episode. I mean, a lot of us in the transportation industry are in that, mid-50s, late 50s. You may be thinking about getting out from behind the seat, maybe getting into training. We're going to look at what it takes to go from driver to trainer, what kind of things you have to have, what you have to have in place, and what you really should be thinking about if you're planning on making that leap, because things have changed from the old days, my friends. And we're going to be also talking about the difference between Driver Inc. and driver service. We were at Bridging the Barriers event. The Women's Trucking Federation had a panel where they were discussing the Driver Inc. problem that's still relevant here across the country. And so we're going to talk a little bit about not just Driver Inc., but what what you should be looking out for if you are signing onto a company that's maybe thinking about going down that way. And then we jump back. I know it's not a tractor trailer, but we've got a cool GMC pickup that we saw at Special Olympics, and we are going to be talking to that owner about his ride and what's going on with it. So it's really, really cool. Hey, we'll be talking about the annual Fleet Safety Council conference. We'll be doing a recap for you later on in the month. We're going to be talking about cargo securement. Todd Moore is with ISB, did a great presentation on cargo safety, cargo securement, cargo security, and I am going to be recapping that for you. And then we are also going to be talking about how you can improve your efficiency as a driver or owner-operator by using that cell phone that you have in your hand. A lot of people are not using some apps that can actually make your job a lot